Hey, you've probably seen on your socials or everywhere really, how to be more effective at your job, how to make more money, and all these other things. And again, those are helpful. I'm sure there's some really great tips in there. I'm not trying to take away from those, but the issue is not about making more money. It's not about doing that. I know that's a reality. Paying bills, huge. It's important. I respect that. I really believe, you have musicians, we have content creators, you have people that are going out to work every day. And yeah, they need to be able to pay their bills. They need to do that, right? Stuff's expensive. But the reality is that for me, and really for all of us as God's people, we have a different purpose for working. And I'm talking any job, any time we are doing something that we would call work, God changes what that is and really our motivation to do it. And I think that's super important, because otherwise you're going to go from job to job just hating that job, and you go, oh, I'm going to go to this other one, and then you hate that one, and you go to, well, there's another job over here, I'm going to do that, and you're going to hate that one. But if I see that God is running things, I'm going to think, okay, God, where do you want me? I think that's a better question. Not what's going to make me more money, because we know, right? I seek first His kingdom, right, from Matthew. I seek first His righteousness. And Jesus said all the other things, like food, clothing, housing, all that, He said all these other things will be added unto you. Your job is not to worry about those things. I'll take care of them. Seek the kingdom, because that's what your life's all about. When all is said and done, it's not about how much food you ate, what kind of clothes you had, or what kind of house you lived in. Right? God's interested in what's going on in our hearts. And so there's freedom in that, right? When you go to work. Look at what Paul says. Ephesians 6, verse 7 says this. It's really similar. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll see it's almost identical wording, but there's one little word, which is why I used it for today, that's in there. See if you can spot it. He says, rendering service with a good will as to the Lord and not to men, right? So yesterday in the Colossians passage, right, Colossians 3:23, you see it talks about working as to the Lord and not to man. You almost see that exact phrase in there. But the one that really kind of stood out is he says, rendering service with a good will. With a good will. And in other words, it's what's my attitude toward my job. Again, you may not always love it. There's going to be tough days. But if I know I'm working for God, then that's my motivation, right? That's the will. I want to do His will. And so I'm going to have a good attitude about that. It may not be perfect, but again, I see it differently. And that's just going to change everything. I'm asking God for help. I'm knowing that this is where God wants me to be. And so I'm going to treat the people around me. I'm going to treat that job. I'm going to see it as an opportunity to love and to serve and to help people no matter what it is. Now again, God might be calling me to something else. He might be training me. He might be getting me ready for something else. I might spend the rest of my life in that job. But here's the thing. Every day, I'm working for Him. He's my director. He's my manager. He's my boss. He's my everything. And so it matters what He thinks. It matters what He wants me to do, and most importantly, how He wants me to do it. It just changes everything. And most especially changes my attitude toward my job, toward the people around me, and toward all of it. I can go into it with goodwill, with a good attitude, with a good purpose. And not, right, do you remember the old Dunkin' Donuts commercial? Time to make the donuts, and the guy, he's just so miserable. And I think that's because that job has become drudgery. That job has become just a means to an end. And for a lot of us, that financial picture ain't getting any better. It's looking bleaker and bleaker. And so that money, if it's about money, man, that's just going to just bury us. But let's trust God. He's got us. He loves us. He's going to take care of us. Let's go after His kingdom. Let's see that what we're doing is for Him. The difference that I make is for Him, for His kingdom. That people might know that Jesus died for them. They might know that He rose for them. And that would help them to have meaning in their lives and a purpose for us and for the people around us. All right, so hit that subscribe button, share this with somebody, and we'll talk to you next time for another follow-through.